Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It's Friday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It is 20 Zulu on August 2nd, 2024. And this is the weekend special. This is a show where you never know who is going to be a guest and what we're going to talk about. But today, we're going to talk about the Youth DX Adventure. And we have Jim Storms, AB8YK, one of the several mentors of the Youth DX Adventure. Hello, Jim.
Hi, Tim. Hey, good to see you again.
It's great to see you, Jim. And thank you for all you do for ham radio. You're also general chairman of the Dayton Hamvention this year, which is another huge job. But let's talk about YDXA. Let's talk about the David Kalter Memorial Youth DX Adventure. Give us some history on how that came to be.
Okay, that's one of my favorite subjects. We There's a group of us at the 2010 CQ Worldwide down in Costa Rica at Quecadillo Station, TI5N, and we just sat there at the end of it and going, this looked like something that kids could get into somehow, and so we decided. Several of us, a bunch, got together and decided, well, let's just make that happen. And so over the next year or so, we planned. There's a lot of people involved in that process, and we kicked it off, and we've been going forward ever since, except for obviously the years of COVID. But yeah, it's been a fun. Been a lot of kids involved in this, and a lot of the kids have gone on to be Young Ham of the Year with Newsline. There's been ARL Ham of the Years and all that. So, and kids are really still involved in a lot of aspects of ham radio.
Jim, do you see the photo with you and the 2010 team?
Yes, I do see that.
Okay, great. So, was 2010, was that the first year of the YDXA?
Okay, it actually was. Yeah, I misspoke earlier. That we did was a 2008 CQ Worldwide. So yeah, it was about 2 years to get it off the ground, and we got this is the first team that went out there.
All right, so this is going to Costa Rica, and there you are leading the way. So that's a really that's a great group and a lot of youth operators. So there's a long history that has been going on here, and I think if you fast forward here, let's take a look at the 29 the co-founders here, and some of the board members that you've got with George and Wes.
Yeah, they're all been very involved. Unfortunately, George has not been able to do that due to some health issues lately, but Wes is still involved some with promoting and helping us find kids, and all the other founders and team members always are very involved.
Yeah, and of course, Ron and you were here for the 2014 Youth DX event. You look here at Bryant KG5HVO, who is a regular operator here at K3R now, and well into his college studies. Geez, maybe he was 13 or 14 in this photo.
Yeah, it's about right. Yeah, he was one of our really big successes, and really he caught fire. His mom says that the trip to Costa Rica just lit him up and just really made him blossom in the ham community.
Well, that is tremendous, and it's really outstanding. I mean, when you think about all the things that kids could be doing, and here you are promoting, getting on the air, and going to places, and special event call signs. Let's talk about the K3Y special event call that you had here last weekend.
Yes, we were able to get that, and we had a team of four youth that sat down and operated at Tim's station, K3LR, on the RSGP IOTA contest. And this is not going to be the official QSL card. This was one we made up for some people that were visiting, so they'd had something. So Grace and Katie came back as some mentors. They were there last year on the team and really got well involved. And they came back to sit down with Ian and Lily and help them learn a few tricks of the trade, get them off going, and then they split off and ran 2 radios, while the other 2 ran 2 others. So we had 4 on the air for most of the day.
So why don't you talk a little bit, Jim, about the operators that we had and your association with them and some notes about them.
Well, obviously, Katie is the CW be all on the team. She is such a great CW operator. She copies pretty fast code in her head, and she uses all her skills to do CW. She's very involved with a lot of things. She's helped start or revamp a school club. Grace is there again is a really good CW operator, but she operated some voice. She's a little bit older, but she was also one of the last year participants. So this year she was also a mentor. Then Ian is younger, and interesting enough, he did CW. I don't know that he did any during the contest, but he does know some CW. But he was on voice a lot, and he had some of the dreaded bad times on the propagation scales, but he still hung in there and kept going. Same thing with Lily. Lily was one of our newer operators, but they were all extra class, and Lily learned a whole bunch. I've talked to her dad a couple of times since, and kind of lit a fire under her. So we'll see what happens now. So did I lose you? Well, I guess Tim is not at the moment, so I guess I have control. The team did really great. They operated for most of the day on Saturday, and they did. I think it was just under 2,000 QSOs, and so a lot of voice, a lot of CW. Uh, we weren't a threat in the IOTA because one, we were a multi, so we were just a world station and probably just be used as a check log. But the kids learned tons, and they did really, really good. So we appreciate all their efforts, and their parents were there, and they helped do a lot of superior things and all that. One of the interesting tidbits was after the uh, the dinner that we had on Saturday night. They'd operated all day long, got up early, and operated all day long. We had a big dinner, ran a little bit late, and so most of us went back to the hotel, and we were waiting on them to show up. They didn't show up for about a half hour, 45 minutes. And we thought they got lost or something, 2 of the parents. But they come walking in, and it turns out they stopped and did a POTA. So actually maybe I think they did 2 POTUS stops on the way back. So I guess they didn't have enough operating time, so they just had to do more. So not sure where Tim went. Oh, Tim's back now.
Well,
I carried you, Tim.
It's amateur radio, and you carried on just great, Jim. So thanks so much for doing that. Jim, let's take a look at the chat room. If you have any questions about the Youth DX adventure, now's a great time to ask it. We've got Jose, X-Ray 2 Zulu Zulu on from Mexico. And from Scotland, it's Germany, Mexico 0, Victor Radio Papa. Hello, Ray. And also our friend in Kentucky, Dan, WA4 Mike Oscar Mike. And we also have Jeff, November 8 Bravo Whiskey. Oh, India Bravo Whiskey on. And young Michael, W3MLJ. And Michael Kalter, whose brother this adventure is named for. And Michael says, David will be thrilled at how well things have gone with this. Thanks to Tim and his incredible support at K3LR and at DX Engineering. Well done, Jim and Tim. And that's from Michael, WHCI. And Michael is the treasurer of the Dayton Amateur Radio Association, as well as the official spokesperson for Dayton Hamvention. Jim, let's talk about the future. What do you got in store for future YDXA?
Well, one, we've been very thankful, Tim, for you being able to give us an alternative. After the years of COVID and all that, we had problems with getting housing down in Curacao. And so you stepped in and you picked up the slack, and we really, really appreciate that, and your team for all their support. We have actually paid for housing this year in Curacao for 2025. So we've got the station lined up. PJ2T has confirmed. Uli, DL8OBQ from Germany has signed in to say that he's going to be our station rep. And we have the housing deposit paid. So we're well on the way to next year. Question is going to be who's going to go, because we've got a lot of kids we've held off and given them some alternatives. So we're going to sit down and figure out how many we can take and what we can get. But that's what we have planned for next year. And maybe, just maybe, we'll do 2 events next year. We'll see what happens. So we're talking with Tim. Maybe this is a good proving ground, but we'll see what happens. We don't have any dates lined up for that. The Curacao trip is July 17th through the 22nd next year. So that's our plan right now.
Well, that's great. That's a great time to go down there, and certainly Jeff W0CJ or CG W0 Charlie Golf and his team are great hosts down there in Curacao. So the Papa Julia 2 Tango station, those kids are lucky kids that get to go on that trip, Jim. And I guess the advice is, if you know somebody who you think would be a good candidate to come to the Youth DX adventure, they should go to the website, don't you think, Jim?
That's correct. There should be, I'll probably need to update it right now, but there should be an application out there for the trip, which, like I say, I don't have this next year's trip out there yet, but we will shortly. And to fill it out, send it to me, and we'll take it under the lights and see what comes out.
No, that sounds great. And it's ydxa.org. And if you just Google Youth
Actually,
DX.
It's not. We had that one is, we tried to get that from a guy and we couldn't get it. So it's youthdxa.org.
Youthdxa.org. Okay, that's great. Well, just Google Youth DX Adventure and it'll come right up. But Jim, thanks so much for all the volunteering you do, both at YDXA and with Hamvention and etc. You're just, the giving back to this hobby has been outstanding. And to the rest of the team, Ron, N8VAR, Michael, WHCI, and others associated with YDXA, it's just been great. And we'll have you on again, Jim, as we get closer. We want to meet those kids that are going to go on the trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, that's right. And we also want to thank the Dayton Amateur Radio Association, who is the major financer, K3LR and DX Engineering for all that they've contributed and do. And there's other sponsors, and we're really grateful. We do this through fundraising, just like a DXpedition. So although we are an adventure, not an expedition, we really appreciate those guys who go out there and risk it all, but we're not going to do that with the kids, but we will have an adventure.
All right. Well, that sounds great. Jim, thanks again. And thanks to all of you for watching. Hope you've had fun, and take a look at the Youth DX adventure here on the internet. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Until then, 73 from DX.